Energy Academy in Jordan and its partners, I would like to welcome you for today's webinar, Empowering the Workforce, Energy Skills and Careers in Jordan and Germany. My name is Ronald Uppmann from the German Solar Association, and I am your moderator today, and I'm happy that I'm able to moderate this webinar today. But before we dive into the existing topics for today, and the exciting topics, by the way, please allow me to give a few organizational and technical information which I would like to ask you to take note of. First of all, please be informed that we will record this webinar. That's an important message also with regards to privacy. Furthermore, it is very important to us to provide you the opportunity to interact with our panelists and our dear guests today, but in order to prevent a big mess with that, I would really like to request you to use the question and answer function for that. So that is really important. So please do not use the chat. And please also do not use your hand raise function, just use the Q&A function, which is provided by our Zoom software here. Last but not least, we will of course also leave detailed contact data to the German Energy Academy in Jordan and its team after the webinar. So we really hope that no question from your side will remain unanswered. So that would be my technical and organizational advices for the moment. And now it's really a great honor for me to welcome two important high-level representatives of the German Federal Ministry of Economics and Climate Action, BMWK, and the Jordan Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources for short welcome notices. So since I already see Ms. Ellen von Sitzewitz on the screen, and also I saw Ms. Sharukani a few moments earlier. Welcome to both of you. And first off, that I would like to give the floor to Ms. Ellen von Sitzewitz, who is the Deputy Head Division North Africa, the Near and Middle East of BMWK. And I would also like to take the opportunity to thank both ministries for their commitment, support, and also the contribution on so many levels to this project. Without your support, the German Energy Academy in Jordan would not have been possible. So Ellen von Sitzewitz, the floor is yours. Good to have you here. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Roland Uppmann, and the whole team organizing the meeting here today. Special thanks also to the GIZ colleagues and all the partners involved in this project. I'm very happy to also be here today with my good friend and colleague Sharuk Abdulghani. Since the Energy Partnership, the Jordanian German Energy Academy was one of the key joint projects, and it's really an outstanding example globally of our cooperation and also of this kind of work. The situation in Germany, as you know, is quite has changed also since our establishment. We have a huge demand on specialized engineers today for our energy transition, and we also see there is a rising demand in Jordan and also in the whole region on specialized energy technicians. We want to do this education as practical as possible. That's why I really welcome as much companies participating here today as possible. The Academy is qualifying in short-term courses young Jordanians and also in the region Palestinians and Syrian refugees in the key qualifications. Maybe let me finish with a few numbers in Germany. In Germany, we see a need for qualified people up to 200,000, more than 350 areas of 800 educational skills are at the moment underemployed. Only in the electricity sector, we have around a gap of more than 70,000 engineers and special people. We are missing 40,000 in sanitary heating and in climate technology and 13,000 in informatics and information technology, just to give you some examples. So the first stage of the Energy Academy, which is wonderful, is really qualifying people for Jordan, for the energy transition in Jordan, but the options of this academy can really go beyond. We're looking also for having qualified, skilled personnel in the companies in the region, but then also offering the opportunity to have actually internships and cooperation also in Germany. So these are the structures, and I want to say that one particular interest in the energy fields, we have two little women. So we have decided also in our program that we will give special attention also to interested and qualified women in this field, and would like to have 50% of the qualified personnel here also by women, to increase also the total number of women experts and managers in the energy transition. With that, and we are in dialogue actually to broaden the approach of the Academy also with other countries in the region and beyond. So I'm really thankful for your seminar today. I encourage all the companies today to look at the Academy and also the graduates of the Academy. And I would really like to get also the feedback, how the personnel worked, whether we have to adjust the courses, what we can do better. We're planning to expand this program, and we need your feedback actually to optimize the processes. So thank you very much, and I'm very happy now to have Sharouk as a partner and dear friend in the meeting today.
Thank you very, very much, Ellen von Sitzewitz, for your kind words and continued support. And now I would like to hand over the microphone to Ms. Sharouk Abdelghani, Director Planning and Institutional Development Directorate from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources in Jordan. Ms. Sharouk Abdelghani, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for you and all the partners. Thank you, Ellen. Really, I would like to thank you for organizing this important webinar, as we noticed that the ongoing energy transition effort are going to bring a profound shift to the sector's employment. And this includes massive new opportunities for job creation in clean energy. At the same time, traditional energy sector will experience declining job opportunities. In most cases, this will require development of both new programs of education, certification, and vocational training, along with targeted upskilling or reskilling programs for the existing workforce. Of course, we are proud of the German Energy Academy in Jordan, and it's under the umbrella of the Jordan-German Energy Partnership. We consider it as an example of participatory approach between academia, industry, and government. And this cooperation mechanism can be used to support the integration of young people into the labor market through private sector involvement in their training. We need major contribution of the private sector in addition to commitment to workforce diversity, women, youth, and even persons with disabilities. And today, it's an opportunity to discuss the mutual interest between all the partners to bridge the gap, the skill gap, and balance between the demand and supply for the technically and skilled labor. I wish that we will have a fruitful discussion today with the presence of all these distinguished participants. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this important webinar, and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shuruk Abdelghani, for your welcoming speech. And once again, thank you very much for both ministries' contribution and support to our German Energy Academy in Jordan. Now I would like to hand over to Mr. Hamze Bukai, who is the director of the German Energy Academy in Jordan, is leading that whole project and is sort of Mr. Thousand Hands in our academy to handle all the jobs in parallel and the courses. And I would like to give you the floor to provide our dear participants today a few insights into our upskilling courses and what our academy is serving young people to get trained on renewable technologies. And after your contribution, I will do a little bit differently from our agenda and hand then over to Jan Isbert from the company BAA Batteries to provide his insight on the industrial demand for skilled workers and also the reason why he has chosen one of the first interns to come to Germany from the Jordan Energy Academy. But before that, Hamze, the floor is yours. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Ronald, and thank you all for joining us today in this introductory webinar about the German Energy Academy and its collaboration with both Jordanian and German markets. I also would like to thank also on behalf of the Academy team and our partners, both Ms. Ellen and Ms. Shuruk, for their kind words and their continuous support for our academy. It's a young academy. We've been now almost 1.5 years since the official starting of the academy. But I think what we have progressed together has showed that there are small milestones that make a difference in the life of many people involved in our programs. As part for my talk today, I would like to present some insights about the work environment and the talents needed in the energy sector with a brief introduction about the Academy for those of you who's joining us for the first time. My name is Hamze Bukai. I'm the director of the German Energy Academy. As mentioned, I was started 1.5 years ago, and by now we are almost completing our 10th training in the energy sector in Jordan. To start with is why is the German Energy Academy? What's different from what we see elsewhere? The Academy started with the idea of merging and utilizing the best of both worlds, the German technical and professional experience, especially in the Tibet sector, and the Jordanian young environment, the youth that we utilize, and also our access to renewable energy industry in Jordan. And together with our academic and industrial partners, we managed to develop specific trainings that meets the demands of the work environment. Our mission is to have a cutting-edge technical and vocational training that meets the requirements of the current energy system, but also the future demands in the markets, with a focus on the labor or technicians who needs some practical and vocational training. Whereas our vision is to become also in the future not only active in Jordan, we hope to become an upskilling center that is regionally recognized as a provider for training in renewable energy, energy efficiency, as well as a smart grid. And we're also offering a tailor-made programs for those who need specific knowledge or upskilling to help them develop through their career. As mentioned by Ronald and explained by both ministries, the idea of the academy started even before its official start with the collaboration of both ministries in Jordan and Germany, with the establishment of the energy partnership, which is actually the advisory part of our academy and giving us insight on what is needed in the job market and how to develop our programs further. From the executional part or the operational part, we're also having a wide network of partners who came together to establish this academy. We have 3 academic partners, 2 in Jordan, which is the Al Hussein Technical University and the German Jordanian University, as well as the third, whose university, which is based in Germany. On the industrial part, we also have the Amman Chamber of Industry, as well as the Electricity Training Center in NEPCO. That's from the Jordanian part, as well as we have the German Arab Chamber of Industry, based represented by their office in Egypt, as well as German Solar Association, which is our co-host for this webinar. So all those partners are contributing and joining together to develop our trainings, to develop our partnership, as well as develop conducting the trainings that are tailored to the needs of the market. So the main point of my presentation today is to also question what are the jobs and how we are contributing for the development of people or our trainees to meet the requirements in the energy market. So if we look in the renewable energy market, it's definitely the easy, or let's say the main highlight, that it is coming to be the main alternative for the fossil fuel. Whether we talk about gas or crude oil, that was the essential part which helps to solve the climate problems that we're facing worldwide. But on the economical side, there's also many benefits, especially with the reduced prices of the solar and wind energy, introduction of energy storage solution, besides the important aspect, which is the job creation. And this is where our academy comes into the picture. So the investment in renewable energy helps both individual and state levels to provide more jobs to the youth and secure opportunities for them to develop their career. So if we look in on the report of IRENA of last year regarding the jobs, so we can see that almost 13 million people worldwide has been working in renewable energy sector by 2020. This has great increase since in the last 10 years, so between 2010 and 2020, with most of those working in Far East Asia, mainly China, especially in manufacturing. Also, it's very important to notice that most of those workers came in the solar industry, which almost was negligible in the beginning of the century. Now we're talking about 4.3 million working in solar PV, the fastest growing sector in this amount. Then, if we also look on the projection of IRENA, in the best case scenario, we can reach almost 38.2 million by 2030. So in less than 10 years, we will triple the number that we have which are employed in the energy sector. And that's including jobs in electrical vehicle, in green hydrogen, energy efficiency, besides renewable energy jobs that we're talking about. So if we would ask ourselves, is it worth to switch, or is it worth to enter the renewable energy sector, we highlighted 5 main advantages for any job seekers to consider this opportunity. First of all, it's clear that most countries, if not all, are switching towards renewable energy and investing heavily in solar power plants, in green hydrogen, and wind power plants. So in the future, there will be more and more opportunities for people and the youth to find jobs in these sectors. And when we look on the compensation and compare to other energy sectors, whether oil and gas or nuclear, also the compensation in renewable energy jobs are relatively higher comparing apple to apple. Also, one important part is the diversity in the renewable energy jobs. So we have lots of opportunity in R&D, technical, construction, supply chain, marketing, all related to renewable energy, which can give also a wider range of jobs for those who are interested to step into this field. Besides that, because of the opportunity, this means also job security in the future, as well as being coping with the new technology and trends that comes in the industry. So if we look, for example, on 50 megawatt power plants, we're talking about at least 229,000 person days working to construct this conventional simple 50 megawatt solar power plants. And this goes from STEM professional to non-STEM professional, people in the procurement, in the design, in the installation, and most important also on the operation and maintenance of the power plant. So these are the states of today for any 50 megawatt power plant. But what we look in is what happens after or in the future after beyond the solar industry. So there is expected to have more, or it has been installed more than 500 gigawatt in the last 10 years, with, as mentioned, over 4 million of jobs in the solar market. But again, the renewable energy is not only about solar. We have many other opportunities coming in the future. So to have 100% renewable and to support the decarbonization plan, we should look into smart grid solutions, large-scale energy storage, virtual power plants and microgrids, the regional interconnection and the high voltage or ultra-high voltage power connections, as well as energy trading markets. So we need to have agile professionals who are able to have cross functional skills or multidiscipline skills to be able to apply for jobs or to serve the jobs needed in the renewable energy, not only to focus on one aspect, which is in, for example, the solar industry. So for these things, we'll need in the future hybrid professionals who are able to do energy design, to do installation of power plants, not only solar, but maybe green hydrogen or hybrid systems. We would need structural and chemical engineers. We would need also professionals in the medium voltage, high voltage. So, and the list go on. So we can see that in the future, technicians and engineers need to be multidisciplined and or hybrid professionals to be able to serve the jobs in the future. Another aspect which also in line with what Frau Ellen mentioned is the potential of work for women in the energy sector and in particular in the renewable energy. So if we look on the solar industry, specifically in the energy market, it's the highest employer for female, with 40% of the workers in the solar industry are women. And this gives also great opportunity in the future and would also give us, as an academy, a chance to provide young female, whether in Jordan or in the region, with opportunity to upskill themselves to meet the market demand and to have job opportunities in the renewable energy sector. So these are some of the skills that we think are very crucial for our technicians and engineers to meet the jobs. These are just like part of what we're offering in our training. Beside the technical knowledge, we'll talk about entrepreneurship skills, communication skills, digital skills. Those are essential tools for the future for anyone who's seeking a job and needing to cope with the rapid change in the not only energy market, but also in the job market. And finally, those are just few of the trainings that we developed or developing now in the academy with the three focus stream: the solar energy, energy efficiency, and smart grid. And by that, I finish my part. I'm glad that we are all here to join in this revolution in the energy market, and hope that we can develop together this partnership for further support of youth in Jordan and the region. And thank you all.
Thank you very much, Hamze, for finishing that comprehensive presentation right on time, 5 minutes before our dear colleague Jan has to leave the webinar. And that's why I would like to lose no time and just hand over the mic to Mr. Jan Isbert, who started in private banking business and then successfully shifted towards battery business in 2005 by entering into BAA Batteries Berlin GmbH. Since 2007, he has transformed BAA to one of the leading and renowned companies in the field of renewable energy. Since then, Jordan has been one of the key markets for BAA batteries, and those reliable batteries have found their ways to many high-end governmental institutions and NGOs. Since the start of the German Energy Academy in Jordan, BAA is partnering with us, and we are pleased to have you on board for the webinar. And my question to you, Jan, would be, since you are also member at BSW and we know us for a long time, you did not think very long about taking an intern, a graduate from the German Energy Academy in German. What was your reason to do so? Why are you a first mover even in that field?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, definitely I'm on the move. Thank you for the introduction as well. Now, the major reason for BAE teaming up, what you mentioned in the introduction, for us it has been one of the key markets since 2007. And as soon as we got aware of the establishment of the German Energy Academy, we partnered up. Several reasons for that. I see that in particular all parties involved are a key element for the success. The local parties, the universities, but also both of the ministries, GIZ. So I think it's a good platform for attracting skilled people, high-level skilled people. Hamze was explaining in particular about the growth of the market. As an SME, we look a bit different from a pragmatical way. We have lack of skilled engineers in Germany, and first of all, the major problem is to fulfill the positions which we have open. Interesting to look at the growth, but the daily business needs to be going on as well, and we have many vacancies, and specifically the German Energy Academy is filling this gap for us. So we are partnering up with hardware, with content, and we see that it's also possible to apply for tailor-made trainings for employees, and that's what we have decided upon together with the team. And I can only make compliments to the team. I see a very entrepreneurial engagement with all people involved to make it a success. And now that we are in the application process for the visa, I even see that GIZ, AHK, BSW, all are eager to be successful and get the process done in 4 to 5 weeks, which in general takes 3-4 months. So for us as an SME, it's also a very uncomplicated way of attracting people with all the support of the parties involved. And as an SME, it's also having another advantage in my point of view, because normally we don't have subsidiaries in countries, and it's also a way of getting exposure in a country by being involved. So I hope that relatively soon, what Mrs. Zitnovich already said, that it can be multiplied to other countries in the region. To be able to, as an SME, to be present in several countries and to attract a skilled workforce. One final remark, I also see in particular that the GEA is renowned because we see Hamze as a speaker on Middle East energy in Egypt. So that's also a way of getting exposure for the German Energy Academy and attract also the right candidates, in my point of view, on the academy. So that's the reason why I wanted to give some good advertising, although I'm on the move, because many people know me. I can be very critical as well, but up until now, I have a 100% positive feedback on the cooperation and the way the team is acting to get also the right people as soon as possible in an internship, which is an advantage as well. So it's a kind of a probation time. We have a 4 months internship. And again, we hope that this intern will start the 1st of June. And subsequently, we will offer him an unlimited job, of course, in case the internship will be concluded successfully. And that's clear that the intern, of course, should prove in real working circumstances that it's also a suitable employee, of course, to fulfill the open position afterwards. So I think that's all from my side. I need to leave, but I would like to thank everyone for the opportunity and wish you all a lot of success, because then we will be successful as well.
Thank you very much, Jan, for your contribution, for your support, and we are looking forward to maybe hear from you and also the other companies in the upcoming events how the internship program is going. And that is, by the way, also a very good keyword for our next speaker. I really would like to welcome our dear colleague Arabi Abdelhak from Ideas into Energy GmbH. He is the leading colleague for this internship program, so to say, the mastermind behind that, also developing the concept. And I remember when we were together in Amman in February interviewing the pre-selected candidates for the internship programs. It was a pleasure to see all those passionate people being so well educated by Hamze and the team. And that's why I would like now to hand over to you to provide our dear participants and panelists more insight into the internship program and why this is considered to be something like a bridge between the academic and educational program and the career which they will start after their educational program. So Arabi, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Ronald, very much. And I welcome everyone here. My intention, as you mentioned, is to explain a little bit the idea and the concept behind the internship program. Why do we have this pilot program that we have, and what are we looking for in the future, and how does this help in bridging this gap in jobs and skills between Germany and Jordan? So I will give you some practical information, and to be honest, much of it is also the learnings. And of course, Ronald, you are working with me on this on day-to-day basis. So this is also a common experience from the team. So I would like to start by saying, yes, I mean, maybe the first question, why an internship program for the academy? And maybe the very simple answer, because there's a need for it. It makes sense. There are graduates from the academy who are actually attracted by the courses that are offered by the academy. And by doing these courses, they are becoming more valuable for companies, either in Jordan or the region, or as well in Germany. And as you rightly mentioned, the first step would be to kind of provide an access to the German companies. And we thought that that right access could be an internship program, because as Jan just mentioned, this could be like a probation to really put the intern in real work circumstances and see what the result would be. And so we thought, okay, we will, for this period, which started in November and will, for the pilot, will end in September, but we are all looking forward for continuing that on a bigger scale after October of this year, that we decided we will actually select 5 students. And these 5 students in this pilot internship, we would like to match them with companies in Germany. So that is the concept that I'm talking here about. And of course, this involves many steps. It did start actually by actually understanding what profiles of students that we have. And I can give you some information. I mean, maybe it's also for the interest of the audience. We had, we had a selection process. So the main criteria, and to be honest, the only that really is important is that they did take a course at the academy, that they did get involved in the academy, and that so that we can consider them as participants from the academy. And then each story of each candidate is different. You have students who are undergraduates at the universities, like the German Jordanian University, like the Hussein Technical Universities, but we also have technicians who have a diploma. We have some who are currently also employed. So the door was open for them to apply. And of course, we can we made a big matrix of who could be, a strong candidate and what are their motivation. And we kind of discussed that with the academy. And with this kind of list, we actually conducted physical interviews in Amman. So with each one of them to hear their story, to have kind of an interview with them, a discussion, and then to be able to represent them. Because this is, to be honest, the big step. How can we represent the students in front of the companies? And this maybe the first part, which was really an understanding what pool we have, took some time. But the biggest chunk of time, which went, I would say, from the whole month of February, March, and April, so we are talking about more than 3 months, it's really about outreaching to the companies in Germany, explaining to them what the academy does for those who never heard of it, and explaining to them why this pool is kind of a special pool that they should look into, that they should consider to provide internships for. And it's no secret that some of them will be successful to apply for jobs later on in these companies. So this was the idea. So the fact is, yes, the matching itself, it takes a lot of time, and introducing the concept to the companies, and then making the interviews between the students and the companies, because the company is the end decision maker about who will they take and consider for the internship position. So this was kind of the process that we went through. A lot of work was involved in that, a lot of communication, a lot of emails, a lot of calls, a lot of WhatsApps. But we are learning from this, and I'm thrilled about this experience, because from each interaction, from feedback, we learn something. So I think you would be also interested to know a little bit about the learnings. I mean, what are we learning so far? And some of the learnings that we see is that, we need to, explain. I mean, each student comes with a different background. And then, how can we in the future be able to group the skills together? Something different, the students are asking us what are the skills needed by the companies, and the companies are telling us, we see that this skill is missing or that skill is missing. So how can we take this information and then provide it again back to the academy so that they can change or adapt their courses? And this is the phase where we are. So although we're focusing on the internship, but there's a lot of content coming also from the companies that we can send back to the academy and tell them, if you adapt this or that, you will have a better chance of providing more internships. It is no secret that a couple or 3 companies did say, for now, Arabi, we can't provide an internship. So this was one of the answers. Another answer was, yes, we are going to take an intern. And a third answer was, let's wait and see if this condition or that condition is met. So these are the 3 answers that we got from the 3 company groups. And I think from all of that, we are definitely working in a couple of months on a whole feedback form where we will provide exactly what we think should happen for the next phase. What I want to mention is that we had a pool which are short selected from 30 students, candidates. 7 of them are women. So maybe this is, yes, not representative, but this is just an indication of the interest. And finally, I would like to maybe say that if there are companies present, I mean, I know that there are the 4 companies here who are actually involved. We have K2 Systems, we have Biobatterin, and we have ESA, and we have Microenergy. And I'm happy they will have also their talk later on their engagement. And also, if other companies are interested in this internship program, I mean, the contacts will be provided at the end, and you are welcome to approach and to discuss the opportunity. And finally, the last thing I would like to say is that what is in store for the future for this program. And I think I would just like to mention 3 points. One major point is that many German companies today have already their own training or material that is online. And one of the things that we would like to integrate in the future, and this is, later on we will work on this with Hamza and the Academy, is that how can we actually use that as a leverage to excite the companies about students who are actually learning about their own softwares, because we are in the digitized age where they have that already. So why not use that already? So that is one point that I want to mention. Another point is that in the future, I hope that there will be, we did a lot of effort, and you know Ronald as well. And also I really would like to thank my other colleagues in outreach to companies. We are doing it on one-to-one basis, emails, calls, contacts, but we will provide also more, I hope, hopefully more matchmaking events in the future, so that the companies can also pitch themselves and the students can pitch themselves. And this would be something planned for later. And finally, yes, the internships is one thing, and providing jobs would be something else that we can think about and how we can integrate with the academy. And finally, whatever we are doing here, I hope will also benefit the national program. I know we have a partner, the ACI in Jordan, that they can also learn from this and adapt this to the Jordanian case and the regional case. So that's really what I wanted to say. And I welcome all the participants and the panelists and the audience. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you very much, Rabi Abdelhak, for that overview and background, and also the learnings that we all together in the teams have. And since we are in a piloting phase of this internship program, that's also very important to all of us to take the feedback from the companies, also take the feedback from the applicants, from the graduates, to make sure that we improve that program in future. And that's why I'm especially grateful that we not only had Mr. Jan Ispert earlier today, but also, as you mentioned, other dear panelists that I would like to introduce to you now. Starting with the ladies first. I'm happy, by the way, that even our podium is very, very diverse here today. And so let me kindly introduce to you Dr. Alexa Nagel from K2 Systems GmbH, the German-based mounting systems company for PV, also a long-standing BSW member, by the way. And also I would like to say that CEO of KH, Mrs. Katerina Davi, joined the supervisory board of our association back in November 2022. So I'm happy to have you on the podium today. Alexa, let me just wait to introduce all of of the participants here on the panel, and then I will ask one after another to provide your input, because last but not least, we have also Ms. Noara Kebir here today from Micro Energy Systems. She is an energy entrepreneur, researcher, and consultant for more than 20 years. She is engaged in developing technologies, financial mechanisms, strategies, communities, and organizations for strengthening the global bottom-up energy transition in Jordan. Noara is supporting just in developing the dual study program. So in the course of this program, close collaboration with German and European companies is foreseen. Next one on the podium is Mr. Martin Hagen from ESA GmbH, the CEO. He's the founder of ESA, company providing digital services to accelerate industrial energy efficiency. Previously, he has the lead for the business development of industrial solar, solution provider for solar process heating, also a known company in Germany, by the way. Further, Martin has a long working experience in Jordan industry, being inter alia responsible for developing the two solar process steam generation project. So by the way, let me also mention that I'm really happy that the topics that we provide here in this internship program, as well as in the courses of the German Energy Academy, are so diverse. So we are not only talking about PV, solar, we are also talking about all the other technologies that are needed for the energy transition. So these are our panelists for today, and let me just start with Alexa Nagel. My question to you would also be, so please also introduce your company in a few words, but also please provide us an insight. What do you see? Where are the opportunities to help to prevent that bottleneck that we have in the German industry with this shortage of skilled workers, and how the German Energy Academy can address that issue in future? Alexa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ronald, for this kind introduction. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, my name is Alexa, and I'm heading the International Sales Department at K2. So based on my daily work, I do have a large interest in the region and in Jordan. And when it comes to, now, let me just say a few words on K2. So we're providing a system that makes sure the solar panels are securely fastened to the roof. Sounds very basic, but there's a lot more behind that you mightn't think of in the first moment. So what is really important for us is that we can't just sell to another country, to a customer. We have to make sure that we always have people educated, trained, and skilled in order to plan and to install our systems. Without this, it will not work. So this is why it's very important to properly train people in the countries wherever we want to be active. And we have decided to have more focus in the region starting from basically this year. So the direct way of doing this is, of course, to train our existing customers and their personnel. But it is also very important for us to partner with the Energy Academy and to also train students, because in our industry, we don't really know what's happening next. It's been a bit of a roller coaster in the last years or decades, and we don't know where we're going. And the only way, or one of the most clever ways, is to make sure to invest in training, to invest in skills. And I think students are just a great opportunity for that. And also there's another aspect that's, I think it's important. In our industry, we're a bit, well, I don't want to sound too lofty, but venturing into the unknown. So it's a new industry, a new energy system that needs to be developed. So we need to have people that have that spirit of wanting to venture somewhere else. And I think applying for an internship in another country is a great way of doing this, of getting used to this, of trying themselves. And this is also why I really love this, this program, and we want to be part of this. On the other side of the Mediterranean, of course, K2 in Germany is facing the same situation as basically everybody else. So we do feel the increasing lack of skilled labor, and we have to have more and more of a recruiting focus. Our team in Germany is already quite international, so it would not be that much of an effort adding people from Jordan. What I especially appreciate in this program is the support. So from people like Arabi, we're just at the very beginning. We decided that we have something for an intern, but we haven't made final decisions. For us, it's very important that in our daily work, we're able to handle it. There's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on our organization these days because of the tremendous growth, because of many people being recruited and the need to train all of them. So adding recruiting activities from another country is putting extra effort, which I think will be worth in the end. But I think as I said, one of the most important aspects was to get the support and to make sure that practically we can handle this. And yeah, that's why I'm really looking forward to cooperating with the German Energy Academy, both in Germany and in Jordan, and hopefully the whole region.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alexa Nagel, for that first statement. We will have the chance to get a bit more into conversation in the upcoming couple of minutes. But before that, let me hand over to Ms. Noara Kebir, from Microenergy Systems to provide her input on that topic, and also to briefly introduce the company and your activities. The floor is yours, Noara Kebir. Good to have you here today as well.
Yeah, thank you, Ronald, for this nice introduction. And I would like actually to go also quite straight to the point. As Microenergy International, we are working since 20 years on the bottom-up energy transition in the global south, Latin America, Asia, Africa, and also the Middle East. And but we've been also collaborating very closely with the German and actually the European renewable energy industry. And in this spirit, I'm also currently supporting the Jordanian University for Science and Technology, short JUST, in developing a new dual study concept in Jordan. But we also agreed actually realizing how important dual studies are also in Germany, with the whole recruitment and human resources issues we're having in Germany. Dual studies as a concept is already something which is becoming more and more popular among German companies, and what we are now developing as a concept, and also what we want to pilot soon is actually to develop a dual study concept with students from Jordan and companies from Germany and the European Union. And as part of this, definitely an internship also plays a role, and this is a bit the link which is bringing us together. What I would maybe, I think many things have already been said about the needs of the German industry and the opportunities out there. I would like to add maybe 2 points and to bring them into the discussion. From my point of view, and also the experience that I have with German companies, particularly, let's say, in Eastern Germany and in the areas of Germany where they have very serious problems of recruiting people, I think we also need within, let's say, the broader scope of this project, and this is maybe also a bit a message in direction of the German Ministry of Economy, etc. We also need to prepare the German companies to get ready for this process, to get them ready to, you know, even in culturally to think about recruiting people from outside. So this is one thing. In Eastern Germany, we have often the issue that in the industries, maybe in the management, they speak English, but the English language is definitely a problem when we go into let's say lower qualifications, etc. There are opportunities out there because actually also in East Germany we see many people coming from Arabic countries who are now working there from the refugee wave that we have in 2015. So there are opportunities, but we need to address them systematically. That's what we see. With regard to women, I would say, as a woman myself, with a technical background, working in a technical background in Germany for the last 30 years, and in the German industry, I think even there, some preparations need to be done, because women, even in the renewable energy sector, etc., we see them a bit in the administrative and management level, but also in the industry. Things need to, you know, companies need to be prepared for this, particularly if we want to address German companies like small and medium sized companies. Even there, it's still unfortunately not usual to have women on the mid-size and particularly in the technical. Let's say in the technical spheres of the work, but I see this in the same time as a huge opportunity, and yeah, where we can use, yeah, which we can use, you know, to develop on both sides our sectors.
Thank you very much, Noara Kebir. Before I hand over to Martin Hagen, let me just take the opportunity to once again remind you that you have the opportunity to leave us questions in the question and answer section feature of this webinar software. And we already got one question from Christiane Hageneder from GIZ-Jordan, who asked a very important question actually to our panelists from the companies, whether the lack of German language skills would be a big problem for internship for Jordanian technicians. So maybe I would like to combine that and hand that over to Martin Hagen also to give him the floor, not only to introduce his company as well, but also maybe to answer this first question. So Martin, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ronald, and to everyone else participating in the call, from speakers and audience, and for sure for the organization. Yeah, for me it's also a pleasure to join, and I felt a bit honored that when Arabi asked me to join, because I've been yeah, I have a long track record with working in the region, maybe in a nutshell. So I've been living, working, and studying in Arabic-speaking countries, particularly Egypt and Jordan, and for more than 10 years I've visited Jordan several times for my previous employer, Industrial Solar, and as mentioned, we worked with the industry and provided solar thermal systems, so also solar energy, but not PV, but solar steam generation. And within this, context have been involved first like project development activities, implementing large construction sites in Jordan, but we also involved in research projects at the moment. For example, there's a research project, JOSI project ongoing, where not only Amman Chamber of Industry is involved, but also 4 Jordanian universities. So I have some experience in the context, but nowadays I'm mostly working for ESA, so still I have small contract with Industrial Solar to continue the activities there. But with ESA, we're also in the same field. We haven't worked as a company with Jordan yet, but we address the same subject basically for what we are meeting here today. Accelerating energy efficiency by providing know-how, and know-how can be provided to organizations, but organizations are comprised of people, and we have to ensure that actually the right people have the right know-how to make good decisions. And luckily for energy efficiency, good decisions is good for the people, good for the company, and good for the country, because everyone can save money or fuel or emissions, everyone to choose, because they all come together. So and also with ESA, we have worked, as I mentioned, unfortunately not yet in Jordan, but in other Arab-speaking countries. We had more comprehensive training activities, for example, in Lebanon, and also undertook energy efficiency assessments also in Lebanon, and for both, hopefully also soon in Jordan. So now, before I maybe two more sentences for the context, also to Industrial Solar, because I think it's interesting to mention. We had at Industrial Solar already numerous interns from Germany, from Jordan, also from Germany, but numerous from Jordan. And I'm not sure, 1 or 2, at least one, the intern after the internship also got a fixed position. We also had people writing theses, from master thesis, bachelor, master, but also PhD theses. So all these things work, and it helps because it gives context and a frame to onboard people and transform. Just start with something little, an internship, and both sides could learn to each other. So I think this is really an excellent element, and should be fostered. That's why I also think that the activities with from German Energy Academy are so helpful in this context. And in respect to the language, we do see that there is a gap. So a gap is a bit negatively phrased. So, but on the university level, English is very, very good, to my understanding. Also, I sometimes have difficulties finding the right English words if we are not talking about energy, but for something specific about, I don't know, dentists or something. So clearly there's an adaptation, but there's a good English. During our construction sites, which we had, so where 20, 30, 40 people have been working on Jordanian construction sites with us, we witnessed sometimes that there is, for very technical aspects and less skilled people, that communication is a challenge. Our experience then was that we also had like people who've been like the middleman responsible for a bunch of 10 people, but these persons need to have good English, good Arabic skills, and in addition also the ability to manage groups, so to coordinate work, and to be able to deliver on time and on quality. So in this aspect, it's still there is this challenge. Also, I agree to the challenges mentioned in advance, like administrative procedures have been mentioned for having people joining in Germany, but that's a more German-related project issue. That's also a challenge for German interns joining a German company or institution, but it becomes even more challenging for Jordanian or any non-EU country. Maybe one more aspect I wanted to share, because it's a nice story I remember so well, and I think it fits perfect to the context. When we had our large construction site, there was one specific piece which was always very complicated to do. Without going to the details, this was a welding of a very specific material in a specific situation, which is super delicate, super difficult. So, and all my team, I am not able at all to do this, but all our team were really afraid, will we find people or do we bring someone from abroad, which is also a bit crazy. We were discussing this question for weeks or months. In the end, we said, okay, we source it locally and we find people in Jordan who were so incredibly good that they were even better in doing this specific task than if we would have brought like a super fancy automated machinery. Everyone was very enthusiastic, and we continue to work with this approach for the subsequent projects. Yeah, for me this was nice because it also like turned around the perspective maybe and really said, okay, no, it's not actually not that it's something is missing. We rather thought, hey, we have to fly the Jordanians to other construction sites or even to Germany because we know they work super accurate, super well. So this is really does not hold for everyone, but this are really a specific example, success case. Hey, there's an incredible skill set available, and yes, it needs always to be adapted to the specific circumstances. So so far from my side, and very much looking forward for the next exchanges.
Noara Kebir, you raised your hand, so please.
Yes, actually, I just wanted to say that regarding the language issue, when we discussed this with our East German partners, they were just telling, yeah, okay, English is not very spread here in our within our team, but actually Arabic is. Due to the, let's say many new Arabic citizens we have since 2015. And it's just more, I think, a question a bit to frame this a bit better and yeah, to use those and to organize those resources on the German side.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I would also like to add something here. Since we as an association represent around 1,000 companies from the whole solar value chain, and even these companies are very specific when it comes to their organizational resources. We have the very big companies like K2 Systems and others, but we also, and that may be astonishing for you, that if you look at the numbers, the majority of companies that we have in our associations are installers. So small, medium enterprises that install PV units or also solar thermal units on rooftops, and they are organized regionally, and sometimes they only have 2 or 3 members of staff. And of course, when we are looking into the future of that internship program, we would really like to see to send those interns to all company types that we have. So to the big ones where they see like an internationally working company, but also what we learned from the interviews in Amman at the GAA, there are also applicants who like to work hands-on directly on installation, maybe in smaller companies. But here, honestly, we face a challenge that we need to address in future, because those smaller companies really doing installations in a small scale residential size, they of course do not have the organizational abilities to take care of the interns as they might expect that. So also language skills would be a real barrier in those companies, and I really support what Noara was saying. In some of the German companies, maybe Arabic is less challenging than English, but that's gradually changing, I think. So a lot of learnings that even Arabi and myself have here in the program, and we are grateful for that, because all of those challenges are opportunities for the future, and we are looking forward to improve that and also to take the feedback from the companies to make sure that we have a perfect matching between the graduates from the academy on the one side and the companies on the other side. And Alexa, you also raised your hand, so please add your point of view on that.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to add something concerning the language topic. So at K2, we have people who only speak German, we have people who only speak English, and we have people who speak both. So as a result, we do all our big meetings in both English and German at the same time. So for an employee or an intern, not being able to speak German is not a big problem. I mean, of course, it's nice if they do, but it should not stop them.
Thank you very much, Alexa. And I would once again invite all participants also to ask our question to our panelists. And in between, I would also like to take the opportunity to say thank you to our colleague Fadi Al-Salabi from university, who is taking care of the technology aspect in the background that this webinar is running so smoothly. Thank you for that. So you see a lot of hands and heads are involved, and hearts, not to forget about, are involved in that project. And yeah, so also please, dear participants, provide us your questions. And in between, I have one question to our panelists as well. Are there other challenges that were not mentioned before here on the podium when it comes to taking interns on board? I mean, one thing that was mentioned was the language barrier. Another thing that I heard from Alexa was the organizational issue to getting those people on board, because many of the German companies are hiring a lot of staff at the moment, and sometimes it's difficult to onboard all these people in parallel. But do you see any other challenges that maybe also this project here could address in future? So please open mix a session, so please feel to just speak into the group.
Maybe I start with something which could be answering this question, or could not answer, but address also this, where we also see sometimes a challenge that really the practice needs to be fostered. So this depends also on the kind of workplace or position which you require. But we see, as I mentioned, great academics, but then when it comes to practical experience on construction sites, being used to work with tools to supervise also others, and really see the practicalities, and not only see them but really engage in them. There we see that this is something which still needs to be fostered. So for example, when I compare it with people we hire in Germany, from Germany, sometimes these are bachelor master students which have a good academic background, but also have already parallel to their academics installed PV systems, really worked for several installations, not only one or two, but maybe a year or two. And this is super valuable for sure, because they can be also the bridge. And there we witness sometimes that this is something where the practical part still could be challenged, or could be fostered more for students which we have received from Jordanian universities.
Thank you very much for that. And in the meantime, we got some more questions from participants that I would like to ask to our dear panelists here. One very important question is, what do you think, what are some of the most critical energy skills needed in the workforce in Germany today? So where do you see, when it comes to your companies that you represent, where is the biggest bottleneck?
I think it's engineering, structural engineering, where we have a big need. Also, when it comes to digital software, those kind of things.
For us, it's also practical experience in energy efficiency. And this is really practical experience. So not only having studied fluid dynamics and heat transfer or electronics, but really visiting facilities and seeing what is going on there and being able to transform what you see in an average facility where not everything is handled perfectly, and transfer or take this information as well as what you learned in the classroom or what people learned in the classroom and help companies.
If I may also say something here. So actually, this is a bit also the idea that we have behind developing a dual study concept between Germany and Jordan, or the MENA region in general, because actually exactly the missing practical part is what is also our experience is the biggest lack, and actually not and this is even this is even a problem in Germany, and even in Germany, companies like to take dual students so that they can already onboard them on practical parts, on the processes in their companies, etc. During the studies itself. In Germany, dual studies can go 2, 3, 4 years. Exactly to extend actually this exposure period already to the processes of the German companies, etc. That's the idea behind the, let's say, the German Jordanian dual study concept. So let me also a bit promote this here, and don't also hesitate to contact Microenergy if you would be interested to learn more about this, and maybe also to see if you would like to join, a pilot project in testing this dual study concept with students from the GIZ University.
Yeah, thank you very much for that feedback. One more question that can maybe also be answered from Hamza Bukai from the GIA that we got from participants. How can education and training programs be made more accessible and inclusive to people from all backgrounds, including those who may not have access to traditional education pathways? I mean, education is always also a social aspect, not only in Jordan, but also in Germany as well. That's a sad fact, but that's a fact. And I would like to also discuss that question here on the podium.
And yeah, it's very important and crucial question also in the development of our academy and our marketing plans, and as well as outreach to people from different backgrounds. It's definitely a challenge to reach to right people and also convince some of daily workers who might not be, let's say, unskilled labor on getting into such a program which can give them some career perspective. Or on the other side, to have inclusive programs that include people from rural areas or female, thinking that there will be barrier to get into the job market if they have these training. The idea here is definitely to have a comprehensive approach where we can promote and ensure those participants that taking part of our training or similar training would give them opportunity not necessarily to have a job that is exactly like a standard job. It can be a specific or different type of job that require these skills. For example, when we have today PV installation course, the outcome should be an installer who goes to a site, which might be a burden for some female. But if we look at the more bigger picture, any project, let's say the 50 megawatt example, it needs a site engineer, it needs a supervisor, it needs a project manager, quality assurance, procurement. All these jobs require or suitable for female to take part of them. And it's advantage for them to know how the process of installation is going. And even the installation, maybe some part of the work requires carrying the modules or have some need some strength. But even cabling, programming the inverters, setting up the design, all these things, they need even more delicate people to work on. So that's part of testimonials, and that's part of messages that we need to deliver to our participant or our potential participants, so that they have the courage to take part in such courses and not to think on the barrier on what will be next. No, actually, there are lots of jobs that need people from rural area, that need people from different background, that needs female, that needs even people with disability, that fit in the energy market. So not to have the stereotype or the standard jobs to hinder us on getting involved in such upskilling programs.
Thank you very much, Hamze. And I have another question for our podium that maybe also goes more to our dear representative from the ministry. So the question is, how can businesses and governments work together to create career pathways and opportunities for those looking to enter or advance in the energy sector? So maybe Ellen von Sitzewitz and Ms. Shuruk Abdelghani, maybe can you provide some insights from your sides on that?
Thank you very much for this question. I think it's very important to work together. Changing our mind and work with the government, with the industry is very important. It's very important. Why? Because we need to work for the economic development, and we need the private sector for that. We need to work for that together by working with the private sector. Also for our strategic objective for the new project, we need also skilled labor for our new trends. For the future strategic objective for the new fields in the energy sector. You need all of that, and the government can't work alone. You need the private sector, you need the academia to work together. And I think the changing in mind now by using the participatory approach between the government, the academia, the industry, is now working play role in developing the new skills for the laborers for the future. Now, taking that into consideration, we should both the private sector and the academia with our future plans to take this into consideration during the work and preparing the skilled laborers for their projects. What is the new fields in the energy sector? What we need in the future? I think it's important to work together for preparing the skilled labor for the future energy project field. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shuruk. I mean, from our experience, what's missing is really vocational training, which means we have a lot of investments in academia. But we have the problem that then sometimes people come out after 4, 5, 6 years of educational system without any practical experience. So what we really see it's missing is early the practical experience. So I think this is what this academy could really use. It's not repeating again the structural and the generic education, but very, very practical. And then, I mean, for the future, I would like to really see what was said also by the companies, having students early, giving maybe feedback, and then going to the academy and coming back to the company. So that it's like a, I would say a little bit like a zigzag. So students start, for example, in the company with an internship or with a job, then they identify a little bit what could be the needs for further qualification. They go to the academy and they come back to the company. So very, very practical and hands-on solution. I think we have to select carefully the priorities because there are many areas which can be done also in other academies and other educational systems than the Jordanian German Energy Academy. And that is why I very much appreciate the meeting here today. I would like to continue that, maybe even in a personal meeting, that we have pitching events where we have students and companies together, where they can also present themselves. And so I understand that this is only the first part of a series of meetings which we are planning with the companies. And I think it's important to let the companies speak exactly what their demands are, and maybe also maybe in the future to invite even some students to this discussion, so they also hear from the companies very practically where the demands at the moment are. Because what I would like to avoid is actually that we have a mismatch, that we do some courses and then later on this is not really what the students are needing. And I think Sharuk has explained it very much. We need better education. I also noted some works like structural engineering, digital laptop, practical experience, and energy efficiency. I think that's exactly the keyword which we need to collect to have constant learning in our educational programs here. With that, I would like to thank you very much. I need to leave to the next meeting, but I'm very happy if you want to continue the discussion. It's great.
Thank you very much for this input once again. And since we are 5 minutes before the end of this webinar, I will have one more question that I also think is very interesting to our panelists. So Louis Al-Sadi from the Jordanian Engineers Liaison Committee in Germany asked 2 points. So one thing is, are companies and also stakeholders aware of the lack of knowledge about the Jordanian education system and the skill level of Jordanian engineers? And secondly, the long administrative process for obtaining visas, which many German companies are not willing to wait for. How can we overcome these challenges? So yeah, that's maybe a hard one, but that's
but I think that's a very important one. And I would also suggest the next time we have the German embassy here as well. I mean, we do work on a new legislation, especially for specialized jobs. But I think it is very important to have here an integrated approach. I mean, we want to facilitate also the visa requirements for interns, and we need to get also in the dialogue with the embassies how we can facilitate the process. So I would think this is a very important point as well. But I think as a starting point, I think the internship can start also with the companies in Jordan, in the regions, and then we can see what is possible also on internships abroad in Germany. But I think there can be also like a process according to this line.
Okay, thank you very much again, Ellen von Sitzewitz, for answering this question. And last but not least, let me also say that we are just on the beginning of our journey when it comes to that internship program. And also we are still in the middle of the rollout phase of the German Energy Academy in Jordan. And without having talked talk to Hamze and his team and all the other partners, I think it's safe to say that we will have a follow-up webinar in the upcoming month to inform you about the progress. So maybe also including once again the companies to provide their experiences and their learnings with the programs. And so we wish all the best of luck for the candidates for their upcoming journey to Germany, and hopefully much more to come. And I would really like to thank the university team for making that webinar possible from the technical side. I also would like to thank the HTU and the German Jordanian University, which are the big university to back us from the academic sector and provide support on so many levels. Also, once again, many thanks to the ministries, both in Jordan and in Germany, also for being with us today in the webinar. Thank you to the participating companies. Thank you also to Ideas into Energy, Christoph Obschat, Arabi Abdelhak, also Lucas and the whole team, and everybody I might forgot now in this moderation. So you see, it's really a big project with many hands, hearts and head joining in. And also for me, it's a personal honor to be part of that, and looking forward to a fruitful exchange. And Dr. Fadi, could you maybe share with us the slide with the contact information once again, so that all participants once again have the chance to get in contact with us. So we are for sure ready to take your further questions today and in future. So please do not hesitate to contact us. And once again, for participating in the webinar, I wish you a good day further. The Jordanian colleagues, please have a good weekend starting very soon, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma salama.
Thank you all.